Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is our regular MLB series preview show that we do with Troy West from allplayswin.com. Today is Wednesday, April 15th, and we're going to look at the series right now that coming up this weekend, starting on Friday and going through Saturday and Sunday. Troy West, thanks for being back with us.
Hey, thanks, Peter. I appreciate it. Off to a great start in the baseball season. You know, these are tricky. These are real tricky. I was thinking about it this morning, you know, because with the pitching matchups, obviously you never know. Guys get scratched and all that. So for the listeners out there, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Hopefully we can still get up some nice leans, but it's a very difficult to predict in advance, obviously, without the lines as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're just thinking about what series might have value. I'll start off with some things that are interesting to me. You know, Atlanta, of course, started off the season with a bunch of wins. Then they got several losses, and I think everyone was expecting a regression from them. They're going into Toronto on the road, and Toronto, you know, a team with a pretty potent lineup. We don't know what the lines are going to be, obviously. Maybe Toronto will be an enormous favorite in all these games, but, you know, expecting a regression from Atlanta, going on the road, facing a team like Toronto. You think maybe Toronto will have some value in that series?
Yeah, I could see Toronto having some value. This Toronto team, obviously, you know, kind of under the radar a little bit, inconsistent at times with the pitching staff. You know, you get guys like Drew Henson and R.A. Dickey. You just never know exactly what you're going to get from them. But, you know, it's going to be a great series to watch. It's fun to see these interleague matchups early, and I do think you're going to see Atlanta start to regress a little bit, so you could see some value there.
And then also another thing I was thinking about that jumped out at me a little bit, Baltimore at Boston. I was thinking about overs in that one. You know, Boston has been going over game in and game out. They got a pretty good offense this year, and Baltimore has some bats as well. The totals for Boston games so far have not been that high. They're going to start creeping up, though. You know, if they keep going over, we're going to start seeing, you know, 9.5s, 10s, and 10.5s very regularly. But, you know, the way things have gone so far, you got to be thinking overs in Boston, in Baltimore at Boston, right, Troy?
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be actually quite fun to see where these lines are set. Doesn't matter the pitching matchup. You saw what they've done to Strasburg this week. You saw what they've done to everybody that's been put in their way. Boston's a hitting machine right now. Will they cool off? I don't know. Until they do cool off, this has actually been a couple of our victories. We've been overs in these games. So I think it's going to be an overfest, at least 2 out of the 3. But, my God, it's going to be a lot of fun to see where they put those lines at, because neither team has a dominating starter. You're going to get guys like Chen on the mound, and we know, you know, even Clay Buchholz of Boston just got ripped up. So overs are going to be fun in that series, Pete. We'll see how it all pans out, but from a gambling perspective, that's where your money's got to be.
And then also I'm thinking about, you know, unders in Texas and Seattle. You're a Seattle expert, Troy West, allplayswin.com. We know that Seattle has a good lineup this year. There are some decent bats, so maybe when they go on the road, they might be good for overs, but Texas does not have much in the way of potency in their lineup, and I'm just wondering if, you know, adding it all up, you know, who knows what the totals will be. You know, we're seeing low totals in baseball, and the American League has especially been an overtrending league this year so far, but I'm thinking maybe we'll see unders in Seattle and Texas.
Well, you know, I was wrong with the Dodgers series, but again, a lot of that came down to I thought we may see Clayton Kershaw and Zach Greinke. We missed both those guys, so, you know, in our first video, you know, was wrong, but at the same time, you got to understand we were wrong on the pitching matchups.
Right.
In this series, you're going to get J.A. Happ, who is a little bit inconsistent. He'll be going Friday night. Did look good in his first start against Oakland, so that could definitely be an under. You get Felix Hernandez, and the next one, you know, Felix always good for an under. He's coming off a rough start, and he's coming off a quad injury, but Felix always good at Safeco Field. That could definitely be an under, and same as Sunday. So unders could be a good bet, but as we know, I thought unders were a good bet in the Dodgers series, and then we missed Clayton Kershaw and Zach Greinke. So keep an eye on the pitching matchups, but unders could be good.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, I'm going to keep it a little bit light this week. I'm just going to go with one series that I'm going to put on my official record, and that's going to be Baltimore and Boston overs. Hopefully, you know, the wind won't be blowing in, and hopefully the lines won't start to get too high really fast. But that's possible. Who knows? I'm going to go with Baltimore and Boston overs. Troy West from allplayswin.com. What series do you want to single out for us today?
Yeah, one series I'll single out. I hope the lines aren't too ridiculously high. I don't think they will, considering where they've been playing, but I do think Seattle gets it done against Texas. I think this is a series. Seattle obviously has been playing not good baseball. They've been a bad bet so far this season, losing 6-5 their last 2 to the Dodgers. This team is so ready to catch fire, Pete. It's just a matter of when. I think this is a good series at home against a Texas team in which they will have pitching matchups in their favor. As long as those lines don't creep up too past the -150 mark, as long as they're favorable, I think the Mariners 2 out of 3, if not a sweep.
All right, Seattle over Texas. Is that it, Troy? Do you have anything else you want to share with us?
Yeah, keep an eye on this series as well, Pete. I think it's going to be a good one. I think that the Chicago Cubs will take care of the San Diego Padres at home. The Chicago Cubs team off to an interesting start, up and down, up and down, up and down. But, they haven't got anything from John Lester. He's due from a big outing. Jake Arrieta is due for another good outing. This is a good Cubs team. I think the Padres will actually be overvalued going into that series. Padres playing okay. Pitching matchups are going to be good, but I think in the end, 2 out of 3 for the Cubs against the Padres.
Yeah, that's interesting. The Cubs can get overvalued at times, but this year they might have a quality team that's worth a bet. And I agree with you. I love Arrieta. Lester, I'm not so sure about. He's also having problems with his pickoff move. They might start running all over him, but I agree with you on Arrieta. That's interesting analysis. Troy West liking the Cubs over San Diego. All right, Troy, thanks so much. We'll do this again early next week. Before we let you go, give a plug for allplayswin.com.
Thanks, Pete. I appreciate it. We got off to a real hot start in baseball. We slipped up a little bit the last couple of days, had a couple of bad beats. That happens in baseball. We know that. Bullpens can kill you. But overall, off to a great start. Could not be more excited, Pete, with the NHL playoffs starting up here tomorrow. Got some great picks going there. And NBA playoffs, excited to do the videos with you guys again. I think we had a lot of success in the NBA playoff videos last year. Great time to be betting. Baseball's going strong. Come take a look, allplayswin.com. 9 years in this business. Best customer service there is out there, and we're winning, Pete. So come take a look.